Hello and welcome everyone. This is Malak's mic, your weekly dose of stories and inspiration and a little bit of everything I love. Hello everyone and welcome back to Malak's mic. Today's episode is all about something practical and powerful, business English. If you have ever watched a business interview, read an article about companies, or even sat in a meeting, you will notice a lot of special words being used. Words like revenue, strategy, stakeholders, and so on. They might sound complicated at first, but don't worry, I'll explain them in a clear and simple way with examples you can actually use. By the end of this episode, you will feel more confident and maybe even sound a little more professional when you speak English. Let's begin with the heart of every business money. One of the most common words you will hear is revenue. Revenue. This simply means the total income a company makes. For example, Apple's revenue last year was huge, over $300 billion. Now, what's left after paying expenses is called profit. Profit. If the expenses are higher than the income, that's a loss. Loss. Simple, right? Companies often make a budget. Budget, which is like a financial plan for the future. And when people put money into a company hoping it will grow, that's called an investment. Investment. Together, these words describe the flow of money in and out of the company, which is also known as cash flow. Cash flow. Easy to remember, cash flow in and cash flowing out. Now, let's move from money to people. How companies are managed. Every company has stakeholders. Stakeholders. These are people who care about the business, like employees, investors, or even customers. At the top of the company is the CEO. CEO, the Chief Executive Officer. Think of them as the captain of the ship. To guide the company, leaders make a strategy. Strategy, which is just a long term plan. They also talk about the company's vision and mission. Vision and mission. The vision is where they want to go, and the mission is how they plan to get there. And of course, companies always want to improve efficiency. Efficiency. Doing more with less time and resources. And the productivity. Productivity, which is simply how much output you get from your work. Alright, now let's talk about how companies actually sell their products. First, they need to know their target market. Target market, the group of people who are most likely to buy from them. Then comes branding. Branding, which is about creating an identity. For example, when you see the Apple logo, you instantly think of technology, design, or even innovation. That's branding. Companies also look at market share. Market share. Basically, how big their slice of the industry is compared to competitors. To win customers, business focus on their value proposition. Value proposition, which is a fancy way of saying this is the benefit we promise to give you as a customer. Let's make it even more real. Everyday office life. If you have ever worked in an office, you know the word deadline. Deadline. The date you have to finish your work. Meetings usually start with an agenda, which is just a list of topics. Someone might write minutes, which are the notes of what was said. Afterwards, you might receive feedback, which is an opinion about your work. And the truth is, feedback can be positive or negative, but it always helps you improve. In the modern workplace, two important skills are networking, networking, building professional relationships, and collaboration, which simply means working together to achieve a goal. Finally, let's zoom out and look at business in the global world. Many companies today use outsourcing, outsourcing, which means they hire other companies, often in different countries, to do some work. When two companies join together, that's called a merger. But if one company buys another, that's an acquisition. The whole journey from raw materials to the customer is called the supply chain. For example, making a chocolate bar involves farmers, factories, transportation, and shops. That's the supply chain. And in today's world, we cannot forget sustainability. Sustainability. Running a business in a way that protects the future of our planet. And that's it, the most important business English words explained in a simple way. Now, let's test you with a quick quiz. Tesla increased its by selling more cars last year. Don't forget to answer in the comment. And remember, the more you use these words, the more natural and confident you will sound. Okay, that's it for today's episode of Malak's Mic. If you enjoy it, hit follow and share it with a friend. I can't wait to meet you here again next week. Thank you and goodbye.